To accept on behalf of Wilmington, I'd like to invite to the stage Bob Bachman, and that's the president of Wilmington Trust, and also Debbie Owens from the Steward Office. Please welcome to the stage. Healthy communities are the foundation for every successful business, and this belief lies at the heart of Wilmington Trust's tradition of giving back to our community. And that is why Wilmington Trust colleagues volunteer tens of thousands of hours each month to ensure their friends and neighbors can thrive. Wilmington volunteers provide contributions with often greater value than the dollars alone: their time, their skills, and their compassion. Whether it's supporting the arts, mentoring kids, rehabilitating homes, providing financial guidance to families who seek a better life, or another activity to better our community, Wilmington Trust volunteers are at the heart of the company. Wilmington Trust parent company, M&T Bank, was recognized in 2013 as one of the BCA 10. Americans for the Arts, through its Business Committee for the Arts program, recognizes 10 businesses of all sizes for their exceptional involvement with the arts that enrich the workplace, education, and the community. It is organizations like the Arts Council of Martin County that could not exist without the good stewardship of corporate partners like you and Wilmington Trust. How about a big round of applause for our friends at Wilmington Trust?
Thank you very much. It's really an honor for me to be here representing Wilmington Trust, and maybe more importantly, representing all of the colleagues that we have working here in Martin County, many of whom are seated here in front this evening. We value tremendously their involvement in the community. Obviously, as a corporate citizen, it's important for us to make financial commitments, but I think oftentimes it's even more important to have our people out in the community working with organizations such as the Arts Council, really furthering the quality of life in a community like this. And it's obvious to me that this organization and our staff are very happy to be involved in such an important organization such as yours. So thank you very much for this honor.
At this time, I would like to ask for some help to come to the stage to help me present some of the remaining awards. He is a much smoother talker than I am. He is auctioneer extraordinaire and a member of your board. Please welcome Mr. Elliot Paul to the stage.
Thanks, Brian. Our next award is for excellence in art education. This year's award recipient is John Stiles. John, please come forward.
All right, John, I get to sing your praises while you make your way to the stage. John was born in 1968 in Wilmington, North Carolina. He has been an artist as long as he can remember. His formal training came from East Carolina University in Greenville, North Carolina, where he received a bachelor's degree in communication arts. He returned to school in 2009 and received his MFA in graphic design from the Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia. His first professional job was as an airbrush artist while still a student. After graduating, he became an artist in the screen painting industry for 14 years before returning to school. Currently, he teaches high school and college classes at the Clark Advanced Learning Center in Stewart, as well as occasional classes at Indian River State College, campuses throughout the Treasure Coast. He stays very active in the local arts community and resides in Stewart with his wife Crystal and lovely daughters Madeline and Ella Kate. John, thank you for your many contributions to enriching the lives of students here in the Treasure Coast.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll keep it very brief. I'd like to thank the Arts Council for this great award. It's good to be honored by my peers. I'd like to thank my family for all the support through the years, and Clark Advanced Learning Center for giving me the opportunity to share what I love. Thank you.
Our next named recipient award goes to Thomas Servinsky for Arts Leadership. Tom, please join us.
And I get to read the biographies this evening. Tom Cervinsky grew up in Indiana, and he attended the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. He trained with many influential artists abroad and within the U.S., including Maurice Gabay, principal clarinetist of the Paris Opera, and the renowned clarinetist Stanley Drucker of the New York Philharmonic. Today, Mr. Cervinsky enters his 26th season in the Atlantic Classical Orchestra, and he's been serving as assistant conductor of the Treasure Coast Youth Symphony since 2002. During his tenure, the Youth Symphony has initiated both the Academy Orchestra and the String Ensemble. He regularly freelances with several South Florida orchestras and opera companies. In addition to performing, Tom continues teaching private clarinet to advanced students throughout the Treasure Coast. He's a graduate of the Chautauqua Institute Piano Technology Program and is a registered piano technician with responsibilities of keeping the concert pianos in performance condition for many of the concert halls, homes, and churches locally and internationally. His passion and dedication to teaching the next generation of musicians remains one of his many interests, and we are fortunate to have him as part of our community. Please give a warm round of applause and congratulations to Tom Cervinsky.
Boy, you guys know how to throw a party. This is the way to do it. Celebrate the arts. You know, when Nancy Terrell ambushed me, we were having our inaugural meeting with the Youth Symphony, and I had no idea this was coming, so this was really a surprise to me, because you don't go into this business trying to be a leader, but what you're really trying to do is you're trying to share your passion. And I think I'm speaking to the choir here, but I think one of the things you and I and a lot of the people who are in the arts share is that inner flame to share that passion with the arts, with that next generation of kids who have that opportunity to grow from what you have to offer. So many times, people sit back and don't share what they have, and that's a sin. This was instilled with me with my father. I watched how he went about business, having a very similar operation where I grew up. I saw the benefits from that. And one of the things we try to preach to our students is there's different phases in the orchestra. The first phase is actually to be a member of the orchestra. The second phase is you take what you've learned and you go off to college and you start to develop yourself. But then you get into that third and fourth phase in life, and that is you become a parent, you become a school board member, you become a doctor, you become some important figure in that community, you become a mom, you become a dad. And sometime you're going to be in a location where it does not have a program that you had the benefit of having. And what I preach to these kids is your next phase in life is you have to carry that flame. Because I'm doing this for you right now, you have to do it for someone else. Because we are not going to let the classical arts die, period. Hear, hear. One last thing I do have to say is I have to accept this award on the behalf of the entire Treasure Coast Youth Symphony. This is not a one-person operation. There's a great chemistry going on within our organization, and I would be remiss by not mentioning some very important people. First and foremost, Dr. John Enyart started this group in 1988. He carried this on his shoulders singularly by himself for 14 years. And it wasn't until 2002 that I came on board and I started to share the responsibilities, and slowly but surely, he gave me more and more responsibilities. But then we had this wonderful surprise that came our way, and that came in the form of Linda Remore. And Linda was a parent at the time. She says, you know, I think you can use my help. And Linda came on board with management experience, graphic art experience, and basically she had the ability to take our ideas and make sense out of it. And one of the things that has really grown dramatically with the group is just how we look on paper, how we look online. And a lot of that goes to Linda. And then the next person that came on board was John's son, Ben, who was our intern. He was fresh out of college, and he is our third conductor. And last but not least, Doug Remore, Linda's husband, he acts as our legal counsel. The chemistry we have is extraordinary. It's not a one-person operation. I'm tickled to death to receive this award, but really, the whole Treasure Coast Symphony needs to feel the joy of this. Thank you all.
Congratulations on an award well deserved. Our next award is a special recognition to the City of Stuart for its Waterbirds project, and hopefully all of you have seen that throughout the City of Stuart. Jeff Krauskopf will accept this award on behalf of the City of Stuart. Jeff, come on up.
As all of you who live in Stuart know, the City of Stuart embraces the arts, even expressing its commitment to public art in the city's strategic plan. Paula Nicoletti first conceived the idea of enhancing newly redeveloped Colorado Avenue with public art to commemorate the city's centennial in 2014. Nationally renowned but local artist Jeffrey Smith stepped up to sculpt the original bronze Waterbirds, providing a world-class welcome to our beautiful community. City Commissioner Jeff Krauskopf and his wife, Pam Roebuck, gave the initial private donation to the effort. Jim Terlewski, the city's community services director, worked for more than a year gathering donors for each of the 7 Waterbird statues. Funded to the tune of $200,000 entirely with private donations, the unveiling and dedication of the Colorado Avenue Waterbirds public art project will take place at 1 o'clock on November 18th, 2015, this year, at Kiwanis Park in front of the Eagle statue, and we will all eagerly await it. Jeff, would you like to say a few words?
This truly is a community-oriented public-private partnership. It's one of the best that we have done at the city. Commissioner Clark is here this evening. Jim Chorowski, who really is he's the Oz. He's behind the scenes that pulls it together. He did a very good job and is still doing one. And if I can ask Tom and Polly Campenny to stand up, please. If you could give them a round of applause. When we kicked this off initially at the Flagler Center and invited all the former mayors, Tom, Commissioner Campenny, and his lovely wife, Polly, stepped forward and put their money where the arts are, and were the first ones to contribute to the Waterbird series that we have. Thank you very much, Tom and Polly. And all the other donors, the city truly appreciates. That's what makes a community work. Thank you to the arts. Nancy, I remember when we all put our yellow armbands together years ago to save what is now the cultural courthouse, and city took on the maintenance for it, and it's a wonderful partnership. We look forward to continuing it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, certainly I think everybody here knows that without the City of Stuart, Arts Fest wouldn't take place every year, closing down the city streets and getting everything done. It really has been a wonderful partnership, and we continue to thank the city for their cooperation and continue to look forward to many other cooperative endeavors. The last named award of the evening goes to Jane Miller for the Lifetime Achievement in the Arts. Jane, please join us on the stage.
Jane, I'm going to sing your praises for a moment while you get your picture taken. I think you can tell you are well loved in this community. As a graduate of Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, with a master's degree from Florida Atlantic University, Jane taught English literature and public speaking for 18 years, first at Palm Beach State College and then Indian River State College. After arriving in Stuart in 1983, she supported the Martin County Library and Council for the Arts with her book review presentations. As a lifelong artist, she participated in the first Arts Fest, and then she eventually owned and operated the Art Spot Studio and Gallery, first on Hutchinson Island, and then in historic downtown Stuart. She continues to be involved at the Blake Library with her movies, foreign films, and art presentations, and she is also very active in the Mary's Bookstore here at St. Mary's Episcopal Church in Stuart. She is a great part of our community, and we're so grateful to have her here. Jane?
Arts Council, oops, there I'm short. Thank you very much for this lovely award. Looking out, I know so many of you do so much more than I'm doing now, but I just have done it longer than you have, I guess. When I moved to Stewart in 1983, I volunteered my book reviews at the old library where the Pittenger Center now stands. And then one of the other exciting first things, I planned the very first author book luncheon in Martin County. Quite a big event. And we had for the speaker a rising young Florida author named Carl Hyacin. It was lots of fun. And then the Courthouse Cultural Center opened and the Ansel Adams show, and art really came to Stewart at that time. And being an artist, when I could find time to paint, I was in the very first outdoor arts fest. And you didn't even need a booth in those days. You just, you just brought your chair and some easels and your paintings, and you hoped it didn't rain. Now, at one of those very early outdoor arts fests, a young man came along and he looked at my paintings and he said, "I like your paintings. I just bought a shopping plaza out on Hutchison Island, just north of the Jensen Beach Causeway. And they're all rented but one bay, and I want an art gallery in that bay." And I said, "I'm teaching at the college. I have hardly time to paint." He said, "It'll be rent-free the whole time you're there." I said, "Young man, where are you from?" And then he said, "I'm from a little place outside of Columbus, Ohio. It's called Bexley." I said, "Well, my goodness, I was born and raised there. My father was the doctor in town, the old-fashioned kind that set broken arms and delivered babies and made house calls." And he looked at me and he said, "He was our family doctor. He delivered me." That's true. It's amazing what happens at Art Fest. So naturally, I took him up on that rent-free the whole time, and it was a wonderful 3 years. The summers were long, but let's face it, I was able, the first condos, the high-rises, were just going up beyond Jensen Beach Causeway, and I was able to have local artists work to sell out there to those people that were just coming to decorate that new condo and then leave until the wintertime. One of my fondest memories was having Lundeen Kudo's great big sculptures there. And I can remember and how heavy they were, and she was good size, but we had to deliver one of those great big things onto an elevator up to the 15th floor of one of those brand new condos. But it was a lot of fun out there. And then, however, I had to give up teaching, and I missed teaching. So I came into town on Mondays when the gallery was closed, and I had a little class going of literature. Believe it or not, we did everything from Beowulf to T.S. Eliot. Talk about the classics in music. I love the classics in books. And so one day I said to Judy Snyder, "You know, I have this wonderful book on art. I have never taught art history in my life. I'd like to give it a try." And she said, "Put up a poster and see what happens." I put up a poster that said French Impressionists. 40 people showed up. There wasn't much going on in Stewart at that time. But they had to buy their own books, too. But let me tell you, of those 40, 10 of us ended up we said, why not go to Paris and see the art that we've been studying? And 10 of us went to Paris, April in Paris, and 2 of those people, I'm sure a lot of you know, Carol Kepp. Is Carol Kepp one of the 10? Well, she was one of the 10 we went to Paris, and Sharon Coffey was another one of those original 10, and it was just wonderful. So then, when the Blake Library finally opened, I was fortunate enough to continue teach that I had no degree, but it was the love of art history. And so when the Blake opened, I heard about this new group of women giving money away for arts projects. Wow, said I want 25 of those big French Impressionist books. And so I wrote my first grant to Women Supporting the Arts. And Vi, how many grants have I had? 6, 7? They have been so good to me, I think it's almost 8. How many? How many? 8, wow. And those are gifts that keep on giving, because all of those books are in your Martin County Library system. And I get to teach Winslow Homer, the Andrew Wyeth, Jamie, all of these books. And it is so wonderful. And one year they gave me a whole batch of DVDs, art, foreign films, history, travel. And those you can go and check out whenever you want. So Women Supporting the Arts, I say many, many thanks. And I thank the Blake Library for letting me have my programs there and the foreign films. And I want to tell you, especially thanking the Library Foundation. They have been wonderful, but it is the staff of the Blake that are just super, super people to work with, so that I have been very, very fortunate indeed. I also want to thank my 3 children who are here tonight. This is quite a celebration. My one son came from Jacksonville, the other from Fort Lauderdale, and my daughter lives here right in Stewart, 2 houses away. Am I lucky or what? My last thank you. They are my finest masterpieces that I ever created. You want to stand up back there? No. Okay, my last thank you. I know I've gone over the 2 minutes, but I really don't care. My last thank you is to my church, St. Mary's here. And when Father Tom Pittenger, you're telling me to clap and stop? When Father Tom Pittenger retired, he left all of these boxes and boxes of books. And the church said, who'll open a religious library? I knew nothing, the Dewey Decimal System, anything. And as I was working in the back room, parishioners were coming in. You know, I have a wonderful art book or a cookbook. Oh, I have I have this fiction biography. Within a couple of weeks, I said, just put it on the table in the front room. I had a bookstore going. And all of the donated books, the public loves it. They come and buy their books there. And my last thank you goes to my church for letting me run St. Mary's bookstore. So when I'm not at the Blake, I'm at the bookstore. And I have no intention of ever retiring. And if you're wondering... But I just bet you're saying, I wonder how old she really is, right? Well, you know when the stock market crash hit, the stock market crash, 1929, I was born the year before that. I'm 87.
I'm going to carry this down for you. You just worry about getting down the stairs.
How do you follow Jane Miller? I think we're done here tonight. Such a passionate advocate for the arts and books in our community. One more round of applause for Jane Miller, everyone. At this time, I'd now like to call to the stage our next outstanding student performance nominee. Martin County High School senior Allison Fisher will treat us with a song, I'm Not at All in Love, from the musical Pajama Game. Let's hear it for Allison.
All you've got to do is say hello to a man, and they've got you whispering in his ear. All you've got to do is be polite with him, and they have you spending the night with him. If there's a guy you merely have a beer with, they've got you setting the wedding date. It seems they've just got to have some dirt to bend your ear with. So before you start, I herewith state, I'm not at all in love, not at all in love, not I, not a bit, not a mite, though I'll admit he's quite a hunk of guy, but he's not my cup of tea, not my cup of tea, not he, not an ounce, not a pinch. He's just an inch too sure of himself for me. Well, of course, I've noticed that manly physique and that look in his eyes. Say, I'm sure he could cut most any man down to size. He must be as fierce as a tiger when he's mad. And I'll bet he cries like a little boy when he's sad. But I'm not at all in love, not at all in love, oh no, not a straw, not a hair. I don't care if he's as strong as a lion, or if he has the rest of you sighing. You may be sold, but this girl ain't buying. I'm not at all in love.
Thank you, Allison. I can only imagine how difficult it must have been for our judges to select winners from the Student Performing Arts category with so much talent on stage tonight. Tonight, we will also be treated with a scene, as you heard, from the Barn Theater. At this time, as they make their way to the stage, we will introduce a scene from Neil Simon's The Odd Couple. Now, the twist in this performance, instead of dueling male roommates, we have two females played by actors Joyce Blackburn as Olive Madison and Colette Schweitzer as Florence Unger. Take it away, ladies.
It's just a few dishes. You want me to leave them here all night?